All right, y'all. I'm back. Just stopped to give me a little coffee. Getting ready to do a little hard day's worth of work for the city of Dallas. The most important part of my job, like I was telling, I guess her name was Renee something. She's a YouTuber on YouTube. And she's very pretty. Say she was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. I'm like, yeah, I know about y'all. My uncle and my aunt, they were Jehovah's Witnesses. I know about y'all Jehovah's Witnesses. You kind of like the Mormons. Because I've had debates with every single church. I've debated every single church that there is. Church of God in Christ, Seventh-day Adventists, and those are churches that I was raised in since a kid. Church of God in Christ, Seventh-day Adventist. My mom was a Pentecostal. My grandma was Seventh-day Adventist, so you can kind of see why my attitude is like, fuck you too, motherfucker. See, Seventh-day Adventists, we believe in nonviolence. We advocate for nonviolence, or you know what I'm saying? We retaliate with ferocity. It doesn't mean that we won't go to war. We just don't believe in war. We don't believe in war. That's what Seventh-day Adventist. We're peaceful people. We are a peaceful type of people. But we will go to war. There are a lot of Seventh-day Adventists that have been in the military, have killed. You know? When they tried to get Muhammad Ali off with the conscientious objective, when he was being drafted, they used the conscientious objective. But that was something that the Seventh-day Adventist Church been fighting with the military since like the civil wars and shit. They finally got their motherfucking dogs under control. I guess I don't have to warn their ass no more. I told them, like, shit, I ain't finna tell you no more. Let me have to do that shit again today. I was prepared to get on the phone, call animal control. It's like, man, let me go ahead. Let me show you two motherfuckers that I'm not playing with you. In my last video, I just got through telling the lady, I say, Dallas is cracking down on this shit. Dallas, Texas is cracking down on that type of shit. Sleeping on the bridges. Sleeping at the parks. Man, they tapping on your window. Sir, why are you parked here? You parked in a no parking zone, or you been parked here for 3-4 hours and the place is closed. Is there a problem with your vehicle, sir? Oh no, I'm sleeping in my car. They ain't having that shit no more. They ain't having it. In fact, they gonna be calling it. You might pull up in a 24-hour restaurant something like maybe because Whataburger here is open 24 hours. So you can kind of blend in. You got some Walmarts here that are open 24 hours, so you can kind of blend in. But then they camera everything. Everything's recorded. Everything's on camera. They take notice that, hey man, your car has been sitting there for the last 2-3 days. And it doesn't seem like you ever really leave. They gonna catch on to that shit. Especially at places like Ballpark Walmart that's right across the street from the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. They pay attention to everything your car get towed. I've seen it happen. Hell, I helped build that motherfucking Walmart. What the fuck you talking about? They was still building the motherfucking Dallas Cowboys Stadium when we was building that Walmart. In fact, the Walmart was there first. Then came the motherfucking Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Alright? Remember, they was in Irving. Now they're in Arlington. Right down the street from the motherfucking Texas Rangers Stadium. You say, what that got to do with anything, though? Because everything ties together. I was at the Walmart in 2012, but way before that. But 2012 is the year. That's the year, 2012. It was 12/12/2012 when I left that Walmart and took my brother to Vegas because he wanted to become a boxer at the Mayweather gym. Before he was a boxer or started training boxing at the Mayweather gym, me and my brother, I was training and working out with him because that was actually something that I inspired to do. Because I grew up fighting. Because I was so used to doing that shit. It was just quite natural for me to go do boxing. I put my brother first so that he could have a better shot because just the situation that we was in. We was out there with nothing. No place to call home. Not even a damn job, man. Vegas is not friendly, bro. If you're not rich, if you don't have no money, man, it's not a place where you can come and try to climb up the ladder. It's not a place where Vegas is not that type of place, man. It's not like Dallas. It's not like Colorado where you could go with very little money and you can climb up real easy. Jobs everywhere. You know, it's always things that in Vegas, man, it eats you alive. Vegas devours you. It doesn't build you up. There's real virtues. It's like, yo, man, what the fuck? It's like an evil spirit that's in Vegas. Man, you can just take all the money and run. You don't share shit. No wonder you got so much homeless people. So I'm at the Mayweather gym with my brother. I'm going to work to help him pay for it. So my training is really cut down because he didn't have a job. I told him, like, man, if this is what you really want to do, and you're so inspired to be this professional boxer like Mayweather, because he idolized Mayweather, man, my brother. Oh, my goodness. D-John, he idolized. Oh, man, that was his hero. That was his hero. Mayweather was my brother D. John's hero. Oh, man, he loved him some Mayweather. He had every tape. My brother D. John spent his last few dollars so that he can have every single this collection of tapes, videos, cassette tapes. I mean, like discs. You know, it was on, I'm not sure if it was Blu-ray or just, you know, I can't remember if it was Blu-ray or not. But he had all these damn tapes, man, of every single fight that Mayweather had. All the way up. Back then it was, he hadn't fought Vargas yet. He hadn't fought because it wasn't even 2012 at that time. You know, we're talking about when he had every tape of Mayweather, we're talking about in the range of 2008, 2009. That's when he was like, yo, man, let me go with you to the boxing gym. We was training in Arlington at the PCW because the PCW wrestling, a lot of y'all don't know what the stagecoach is. See, Texas is very big with boxing, with combat sports. And I was like, man, I kept asking him, I was like, man, why you gotta go way out to motherfucking Vegas, bro? They got Golden Gloves here in Fort Worth, Texas. And we ain't nothing but 30 minutes away from it being in Dallas. You can easily go and train and box here in Texas. Why you gotta go way out there to Vegas? Man, I gotta be out there with Mayweather, man. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm gonna shine. That's where I'm supposed to be out there. I'm like, I don't know where you getting this idea in your head, bro. Because if it's your destiny, I had this conversation with D. John many times. I was like, man, if it's your destiny to shine as a fighter in the boxing ring in that sport and get paid to do it and be successful and become a champion, I say, look, bro, if that's your destiny, it's going to happen here in Texas too. Because that's your destiny. You're not going to have one place and then that's where you fight. You're going to fight abroad. So you got to have like promoters. You got to have endorsements. You got to have all this shit in order to even be able to afford to do that. Which means somebody has to sign you onto a contract. Which means somebody is going to own your ass. All right? Somebody owned Mike Tyson. And his name was y'all know who I'm talking about. Only in America. All right? Don King. Some of y'all don't even follow. Man, Don King had fighters like Muhammad Ali in debt. It's like, man, go ask you signed to hit the most, go ask him about your money. Don King. All right? So I was like, man, if it's your destiny, let's start here in Texas, bro. Because we got boxing gyms in Texas. We got the Golden Gloves in Texas. You know what I'm saying? They have boxing matches in Texas all the time. No, man, I gotta go to Vegas. I have to be in the Mayweather gym. And this was the argument, I mean, for a whole week. Finally, my sister, she taps me on my shoulder. She's like, Josiah, can you please take him to Vegas so that he can do his dream? I was like, well, shit, man, I got something going on. Plus, my kids here in Texas. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of shit that I got to deal with, man. And me going to Vegas is going to put things in an awkward situation for me. I ended up doing it because my sister asked me again. She's like, can you please just do it for me? Can you take him to Vegas so that he can be this boxer? And she didn't see how it was going to happen. I'm like, well, if it's going to manifest, it's going to manifest. All right? If it's going to... They didn't know how it was going to manifest. He didn't even know how it was going to manifest. He just knew. It's just like a kid at Christmas. I don't know how that Christmas present got there. I don't know what anybody had to go through in order to get there. But you know what? Somehow, some way, when I woke up in the morning, it's Christmas and I got my PlayStation 5. Mom and Dad can barely even afford the shit. That's these days of time. Back when I was a kid, guess what it was? It was burning key cars, all right, and a racetrack called Cliffhangers. Y'all probably don't even know what Cliffhangers is. The cars was able to go upside down and around and loop-de-loops and shit on a racetrack. You build the racetrack and design it to the way that you want the cars to race each other. And it was called Cliffhangers. But it was expensive back then. Now you probably don't even see Cliffhangers anymore. That's been so long ago. I was in elementary when Cliffhangers was out. But check this out, man. I ended up taking him to Vegas. And mind you, my shoulder was fucked up. I was going through rehab for my shoulder, for the pinched nerve that happened to me at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? For my shoulder. It still fucks with me to this day. I'm barely able to, you know what I'm saying, use my shoulder, man. Still hurts, man. They was like, maybe you might have to have surgery. I'm like, nah, I don't want nobody cutting on my shoulder. You're gonna fuck my shit up worse than what it already is. All of this is relevant that I'm saying, man. It has everything to do with everything. So I took my brother D-John to the Mayweather's gym. Got him signed up. The day was 12/12/2012 that we left Arlington. All right. We left Arlington. I quit my job at Walmart because they wouldn't let me transfer it. I took my brother and all I had on me was about $300. That's it. All I had on me was about $300 because I had just lost my apartment. You know what I'm saying? Because I was struggling to pay child support and take care of all these other bills and pay a $900 monthly bill. Child support taking half of my check. You know what I'm saying? So I took my brother to Vegas. Got him signed up. And with that $300, we was able to survive. We was able to survive, man. With that $300. I ended up getting a job out there in Vegas called Graceful Touch. And my brother He would train at the Mayweather gym while I'm at work. And Graceful Touch was a home health care facility where you go to these people's homes and you take care of them. You do you do their shopping because they're not mobile. They're handicapped. Some of them are hospice, which means they're finna check up out of here. Now, mind you, I wanted to get into combat sports myself. But I realized something about me that a lot of people didn't realize early on when I was a kid, that I'm a celestial. I'm really not a human being. I have a greater job that is required of me to do. And not necessarily anything that's going to bring money into my pocket. Because as a celestial, we don't really have that need for luxury. Because we come from a luxurious kingdom that you cannot go to. You have to transcend your physical. This is what Christ was teaching. You have to transcend your physical flesh in order to come inside the kingdom of heaven. Every celestial will tell you that. Except Satan. Satan want to see everything destroyed. There are a lot of people who are Luciferians that worship Satan. Man, let me tell you something. And I'm glad I'm in my right mind. But that's one of them situations where you'd be like, man, if you knew better, you do better. Why would you worship somebody who's actually trying to destroy you? And not just destroy you in the flesh, but then destroy you after your death. Why are you trying to worship somebody who's like that? Satan doesn't care about the fallen angels that followed him. Satan doesn't even care about his son. Satan only cares about himself. He don't care about nothing but himself. You're like, what you mean Satan's son? You didn't know that Satan got a son? If the fallen angels came down and took women and raped them and bore giants, Nephilim, into this world, what the fuck you think Satan did when he's their leader? They followed him. How the fuck do you think that they are falling? Try not to stay too long because I'm at work. And it's about to be hell on earth, y'all. But at this point in time, the kingdom of heaven, all of heaven, every angel, we're tired of coming out with the truth about, the Jews being black. When the evidence is right before your very eyes, how the fuck can we be cursed and say, well, Noah cursed his son Ham, so that's where black folks come from? Well, wait a minute, motherfucker. Nobody stopped to theorize and ask this question. But motherfucker, if Noah had a black son named Ham, what color would Shem and Japheth be? What color would Noah be? because the curse wasn't directly towards Ham, it was towards his son Canaan. So how do you go white father, white mother, white brother, black brother? There was no adoption back then. You know what I'm saying? Ham was Noah's son. Two black people can have an albino child. A black man and a black woman can give birth to an albino child. But a white woman and a white man can't create a black child. That white girl will have to be a descendant of black people somehow, some kind of way, in order for that to even occur. She have to have some black blood up off in her somewhere. Maybe her grandfather was black. Maybe her grandfather was black and her grandma had married a black man, and that's how she came into existence through that way. That's possible. But it's only because she has a black person in her lineage, in her early lineage, like her grandfather. Maybe her father was white, but her grandfather was black. In that case, yeah, there's a possibility that she would give birth to a black baby because it's in her DNA. I don't know what they call that, 10% black maybe? I don't know. Who cares? You know? Why do they hate us so much? I spoke on a little bit about the problems with the immigrants here in America and ICE, what's going on with ICE and arresting immigrants and deportation and all this shit going on. I was talking about what's going on in Iran, in Iraq, and Israel right now. What's all the fighting about? Why do they hate us so much, man? And I'll tell you why. Because we're children of the sun. Our skin, we harness the power of the sun. It's in our melanin. We raise the frequencies in our vibrations. We can control the kinetic energy within us and formulate what is known as static shock. We can create energy waves and things like that. But I'll get into that a little bit later. You have 9 ether in your blood. That's why you're children of God. That's why we are children of God. We are non-ether beings. We are celestials. We are the gods of this earth. We was created in the exact image of God, from our head to the crown of our head to the sole of our feet. We was created in the image of God. In his likeness, in his image means our visage, the total makeup of man, the biological construct. Our hands is in his image. Our eyes, our nose, our mouth is in his image. In his likeness means our skin pigmentation. So we have the image, what you see before you, my face. Then we have the likeness of God, my coloration, the black man. That's how you understand what's going on. All right? And it all boils down to the covenant that God made with us. God has a covenant with us. That's why we're denied everything, from stuff that they owe us from slavery, reparations. And we're consistently being denied. was rightfully ours. Anyway, I gotta go. I'll chat with y'all later. Shalom.